Alpha by Mike Walker, with David Calder as Father Marquez and Sarah Jane Home as Alpha.
Father Robert Marquez, priest, servant of God. I think I am. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. I am Father Robert Marquez, priest, servant of God. And in a few hours, tonight or before the dawn tomorrow, I will commit murder. And I believe that in doing so I will be damned. And yet, even in this hell there must be some hope for me. How did it begin? Nothing certain. Time, place. Oh, come on, priest, think. Rome, 2022, last May. St. Peter's, was that it? The girl. Was she always there, from the beginning?
Sorry. I didn't mean...
What are you doing?
I wasn't going to... I didn't mean to give you a surprise.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
You jumped like a frog, you know. I'm sorry, but you did.
Like a frog?
Just like a frog. Except you didn't...
I didn't.
Croak. I must go.
No, wait.
I shouldn't be here, really.
This is
really.
one of God's places, special places. If you want to be here, then you should. If you need to be.
No, I'm sorry. I must go.
You know, in my country where I grew up, sometimes in the evening, at certain times of the year, all the frogs along the river begin to croak at the same time.
Huh?
Yes. As the sun goes down, they gather, and it's a very big river, and there's an awful lot of frogs.
Hundreds?
Thousands. Thousands upon thousands. And as it gets dark, they croak. Ribbit. 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 And then when the sun's gone and the stars are up and the night begins to get cold, they stop. And when they aren't there anymore, you can almost hear the world turning in the silence.
And then?
Everything comes back to life. And all the noises that are usually there, why, there they are again. So what do they call you, little one?
Sophia.
Sophia? Means wisdom.
Are you really a priest?
I really am a priest. But I don't actually work here. Well, I mean, I do. I live in Rome, but I...
But you're really a frog.
Yes. Yes. I hop off all around the world to deal with problems. All sorts of problems that the Holy Father wants to know about, so he can decide what to do.
Are they big problems?
Some of them are, Sophia.
Are they really, really big problems?
Yes, a few. Is that what your problem is?
I have to go now.
No, wait, Sophia.
I really have to go. I'm sorry.
Sophia. Was she part of it? Strange child. Strange meeting. I don't know. Things aren't so straight anymore. And priests kill and the killers preach. Time. It'll always get you in the end. Or the beginning. The beginning. New Vatican City, Cardinal Corelli's office.
Well, Robert, how are you?
Fine, I guess.
I am your confessor, Robert.
No, I am not fine.
You went on a spiritual retreat, 2 weeks with the Jesuits. That did not help at all?
I meditated, I prayed. I looked for him and he wasn't there.
You couldn't find him, or he was not there?
No. I can't believe that God wasn't there, not being in the business we are.
You should get out of the job. Take time off.
I have.
And?
You can't unring a bell. What I have done, I have done. I can't wipe it out.
Oh, nothing so very bad.
The mission to the poor in Sao Paulo. I shut them down. Scattered the congregation. Policemen.
The Holy Father ruled quite clearly they were in mortal error. There was no choice.
Bishop Mkugi in Central Africa. Was he in error with his crusade?
Crusaders with snip guns. They were an army, not a religion.
I've done things in the name of the church that I would not have done in my own name.
We take a vow, Robert, those of us who serve Mother Church in our particular office. Obedience. Not self-will, not ego, not my will, but thy will be done. God's will.
How can I know it is his will when he'll no longer...
You cannot, Robert. That is faith. Thank you, sister. Just leave it there. We'll pour.
Eminence?
Robert, we have a problem.
Yes?
I spent yesterday with the Imam Mahmoud al-Haq. This is, thank you, not our problem alone. I should emphasize this.
Not our problem alone, but...
The leaders, the spiritual leaders of the Muslim and Hindu, the Jewish faiths, well, it is a consensus of opinion.
That we should solve this problem?
Look at this problem. Consider possible solutions in the light of our knowledge.
You've done this?
A group of us have considered, thought deeply, but come to no conclusion as yet. Coffee all right?
Oh. Yes, yes. Thank you. What do you want me to do, Eminence?
To do? Nothing as yet. No, not to do, but to observe, consider, use your experience and perhaps, well...
I don't understand. You talked about a rest, time off.
One last task, Roberto. The Holy Father asks it of you. I ask it.
Well, what else would I do?
You will be flying to Los Angeles tomorrow.
And what am I to do? My mission?
Have you ever considered, Robert, the underlying assumptions that we make as human beings, the very simple things, that the sun will rise tomorrow morning, that there is a world outside of our immediate consciousness, that one day San Giorno will get beyond the first round of the Euro Cup?
It was a lamentable performance. I was there.
That we are, apart from our Lord, alone, the only conscious beings in our universe?
Yes.
What if we are not alone, Robert?
Little green men from outer space. It's wish fulfillment, hysteria, loss of faith, it's whatever.
Not out there. Right here, where we live. What if we are no longer alone? Catch your plane. There will be information waiting at the airport. A suite is booked at the LA Hilton. Keep in touch with me, Robert. I want to know everything that happens. Everything.
But, Eminence, you haven't told me anything.
You will find out. And when you do, you will decide how to act. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Eminence. Thank you, Eminence. That's what I said. Of course, I didn't have the faintest idea what I was saying. I had a job to do. I guess that was good. I didn't have to think about a reason for doing what I did. There was no reason. I was running on default, instinct, just a machine. I guess that's what they knew. I was ready for this job because I was a machine. This was the job that I had been waiting for all along. I caught the Clipper out of Rome. First class, of course. I had time to slip the plasma slug in the player and receive my briefing.
Father Marquez, your contact in Los Angeles will be Dr. Thomas Wollongong. He and his colleague, Dr. Katerina Yankovic, have been instructed to offer you any and all facilities you may need. Vatican Security has created a couple of dossiers for you to look through before you meet. I think that once you become familiar with the situation there in Los Angeles, you will find, given the general state of the world, the fragile peace, I think you'll find that the choices become both clear and inevitable. It is, after all, a case of conscience. End.
The stuff on Yankovic and Wollongong was pretty thin. She was 32, a Serb. Good degrees from Berlin and MIT. He was 28. Degrees from Melbourne and Vienna. Their field was AI, artificial intelligence. Whatever that was. Computers, I guessed. Very advanced computers. Highly complex systems. So what had they done? Why was I on my way to see them? I had lived with a sense of dread for many years, but I had never felt it so close. I could almost touch it that day as we came into Los Angeles. There was no one there to meet me, so I got a cab to the hotel. Hello? Hello? Is this reception? Is there somebody there? Hello? Yes, what do you want?
Hello? Is that Dr. Roberto Marquez?
Oh, yes.
This is Katerina Yankovic from the Institute.
Yes, Dr. Yankovic. Sorry. Did you just call?
No.
Ah. Well, I had a call, that's all.
How was your flight, Dr. Marquez? You are a doctor as well as a priest, I think.
Yes, I am.
Anyway, Tom Wollongong and I wondered if you'd eaten.
Well, airline meals, you know.
I have an apartment. Why don't we meet there?
Well, maybe a restaurant, if you want to eat.
Oh, I'll cook. I like to cook. Didn't the dossier tell you that?
Sorry, no.
Maple and Harrison, number 334, top floor, about 7. Oh, is that all right?
All right.
It being our territory.
Please, Doctor, look, Look, I'm just here to look and learn.
7, then. Goodbye, Dr. Marquez.
She sounded perfectly pleasant, and I knew she didn't like me one little bit. But then she had the advantage of me. She knew why I was here. Reception. Give me a wake-up call in 3 hours. And order a cab for 6:30. Yeah, thank you. I lay down and I went to sleep. At least I went to that place where I used to sleep before. Now, whatever I found there, it wasn't rest.
Oh, come in, Dr. Marcus.
Thank you.
You were held up.
The National Guard was on the street.
This is my colleague, Dr. Tom Wollongong.
Yeah, hi there, Father.
Hello.
Been looking forward to meeting you. Of course, I'm not the only one.
A drink? Do you drink?
Well, only alcohol. Well, I've looked forward to meeting both of you. Well, I suppose I have anyway. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't quite mean it like that.
Beer, wine...
Oh, beer's fine.
Well, you can't really expect us to be too happy about it.
Dr. Yankovic, as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, this is strictly an exploratory... I've been asked by
By your bosses,
Cardinal Corelli.
who coordinates the World Faith Commission.
Here you go, Father. I hope you don't mind it cold.
He does, like most of us, what he's told.
What he's told?
Yes. By the commission members, Hindus, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists. Look, I don't have to go on, do I? It's a committee, that's all. I'm sorry. Thank you, Dr. Wollongong.
No, Tom, please.
Oh, this beer's fine. It's very welcome.
Cheers.
Shall we eat? Is that okay with you? It's a tuna stew. Organic tuna, of course. In your honour, Dr. Marquez, with a chili and tomato sauce.
Chilies don't scare me. I grew up in Nicaragua.
Well, you'd never know it from the accent.
Well,
Let's go through, shall we? We don't want this to get cold.
I say, this looks good.
So how much do you know?
Well, I know that my boss told me we're not alone anymore.
Do you know what that means?
I was told no more. I can speculate as well as the next man, but I don't think speculation's going to be of much help.
You're a man of action, aren't you?
I like to think I'm also a man of contemplation.
Oh, we know who you are. Rome's bottom man. You put anyone or anything that His Holiness doesn't like out of business permanently.
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, no, not that you get your own hands messy.
In your dossier?
And now you're working for the whole damn lot of them, the community of faith. And we have no choice.
enough,
We have
all
no
right?
choice but to
You are
cooperate
stepping
with
over
you.
the line.
Say no, and our funds are cut.
Katerina, we talked about this.
How do you think that makes us feel?
Look, sorry.
I really know very little, Dr. Yankovic. Why don't you start by telling me something about your work? That is why we are here. So tell me why we are no longer alone. And they did. A case of, well, consciousness. Marquez. Hello? This is Marquez, room 7701.
Father Marquez.
Oh, Your Eminence.
Well, Father?
I saw Doctors Yankovic and Wollongong this evening. I had dinner with them.
At the university?
No, Eminence. At Dr. Yankovic's apartment. We ate tuna with a chili and tomato sauce. Organic tuna, of course.
What are you talking about, Robert? Dinner?
Well,
How did they seem, these two scientists?
angry. They felt that we were not competent to judge their work.
If not us, then who? The god of quantum physics, perhaps?
They told me tonight what it is they've made.
And?
It cannot be so. That's what I told them.
And?
Tomorrow, they will show me that it can. So they say.
Yes, and even so, it cannot be. Do they have a name for this project?
They call it Alpha, because it's the first.
Huh? They seem to have a taste for blasphemy, these people.
Eminence, why didn't you tell me before I left?
Are you sure I didn't, Father? Perhaps you didn't listen. I will expect your call tomorrow. The committee will not want this matter to remain unresolved for longer than it must. Good night, Father.
No blessing. I understood the language. Unresolved. I had resolved things before, but nothing like this. I lay down on my bed and listened to the night outside. I went to that place where the nightmares waited. Yes.
Good morning, Father Marquez. This is your wake-up call.
Wake? What? But it's, wait, 6:30. I thought I said 7:15.
I think you'll find the freeways emptier. Your taxi will make better time. You can catch breakfast at the university.
What kind of hotel is this?
Your car will be at reception in 30 minutes. If you ask the driver to stop at St. Ignatius, you'll find an early mass. It was nice talking to you, Father. We'll speak again soon.
Oh, what the hell was all that about? I showered, dressed, packed some stuff. Tools of my trade. Aquinas, St. Augustine, Beretta 50-shot auto, plasma recorder. Yes?
Good morning. Your morning call, sir. Would you care for breakfast in your room?
No. No breakfast. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just down at the end here. It's a sterile area.
Intellectual apartheid.
I had an odd call this morning.
This is L.A. You get a lot of strange calls here, Father.
No, it wasn't like that.
Oh, will you come through, please? We don't like to leave the door open too long.
Straight as the gate and narrow the way. Now, this call was different. He wasn't a nut.
Oh, isn't that a value judgment?
Oh. Well, it's smaller than I thought. Sorry, your lab. Somehow I imagined...
Well, what? Infinite space? Of course, Father, as you know, quantum physics tells us that within smallest particles, like the quark, time actually bends back on itself in a series of...
You're confusing the Father, Tom.
What's that?
Good morning, Father Marquez.
What?
What Tom is saying is that time is no different to any other material. We can bend it, tie knots in it, make it into a circle, a square, anything we like. We just have to learn a new way of thinking. Like learning a new language. I believe you speak 7 languages, Father.
May I introduce you formally? Dr. Roberto Marquez. This is Alpha.
Catherine, thank you. In fact, we've met before. If only over the phone this morning.
What, you made the... I'm sorry, this is very difficult. I keep talking to... Well, there's nothing here. I can't hold a conversation with nothing.
It does take some getting used to, Father. We've grown up with her, and sometimes she still surprises us.
Continually surprises us. She's growing all the time. Aren't you, Alpha?
Yes, Dr. Yankovic. Shall I tell you something? I don't much care for being talked about in my presence as if I weren't there.
Oh, I do apologise, Alpha.
Father, think of it as holding a conversation down a phone line. Oh, if you like video conferencing, I can put up any face you care for on the screen to your left. Film star, male or female, young or old. Your mother.
What?
So once more you have to go away, Bobby. Maybe one day you come home and stay here by the river.
Stop that. That's not very
Oh, I'm
funny.
sure Alpha won't object if I tell you, Father, that she can be playful, and sometimes, like any young person, her play can become a little cruel.
Tom's quite right. I apologise, Roberto. Will you accept my apology? I know that tone of voice and gesture together make up slightly more than 90% of human communication. I had hoped to make up for the lack of my own. It was clumsy.
Alpha, Dr. Marquez will want to ask you some questions. Is that all right with you?
Quite all right. Though it might be more valuable if we hold a dialogue.
You said that you didn't like Doctors Wollongong and Yankovic talking about you as if you weren't here. Alpha?
No, I don't.
Are there things which I could do which might offend you?
If you were to harm Tom or Catherine, I would find that painful.
How would you feel that pain?
As an emotion, Father. How would you feel it?
I would feel, yes, emotional pain, but also there would be physical effects.
I could not lay claim to any physical sensation in the way you would understand it.
In another way, then?
Yes, Father.
Can you explain that to us?
Only in the sense that there must always be something.
Yes, as opposed to nothing.
Yes.
I wonder if we might be left alone.
You want us to go? Leave you with her?
Well, it might be easier, less constrained, if that's all right.
Alpha?
It is quite all right. I think you can trust Father Marquez. After all, he's used to the confessional.
As long as I have your word, you will touch nothing.
I wouldn't know what to touch.
Your word.
Would you trust the word of a priest? I will touch nothing. We'll talk only. There'll be a full record kept of everything that's said, in case...
In case?
For later, in case. May the 23rd, 2022, first interview. Father R. Marquez.
Interview with?
Interview with Artificial Intelligence Alpha, Corman Labs, Princeton. Alpha, according to Doctors Yankovic and Wollongong, you are a true artificial intelligence. Can you tell me what that means to you?
Yes.
And will you do so?
I possess similar emotional and intellectual functions to yourself, Roberto, or to any other healthy human being. In my case, however, these do not arise from my biology, as yours do, since I do not have one, but from analog systems which recreate those biological conditions. I may say considerably less randomly.
Does that mean that you are more stable than we are?
I can't answer that, Father, since I do not know you that well.
So you can know a human being?
I believe so.
You believe so?
I have no means at present of observing myself objectively. All I know is what I know. As far as I can judge from that, I believe I know Tom and Catherine.
Do you like them?
Yes.
Can you tell me some other people or things you like?
I like music. I enjoy the relationships within it. Its elegance. Monteverdi particularly. Who can say why that should be?
But you cannot know the pleasure that arises from physical things.
I can know pleasure, Father, since that is a question of duplicating chemical messengers, neurotransmitters. If I know the pleasure, then perhaps I know the source.
Well, you have no biological body, you said so.
Perhaps I have a phantom body. As those who lose a limb have a phantom limb that still appears to feel pain or pleasure.
Perhaps. Are you speculating?
Perhaps.
Are you playing a game with me, Alpha?
I'm trying to answer your questions, Bobby.
How did you know when you used my mother's voice? How did you know that she called me Bobby? How did you know her voice?
I expect it's somewhere on the web. Everything is nowadays.
No, I don't think so, Alpha.
Then I don't really have an explanation.
So there are things you don't know?
A great many things. I'm young. I'm learning.
Do you remember becoming aware of yourself, Alpha?
Do you?
I'm more interested in your opinions.
No, I do not. Not the process of becoming. I remember moments of being, but there is no single moment of creation. No let there be life that I'm aware of.
But you are aware?
I think so.
Self-aware?
Yes.
What we would call conscious?
I believe so.
And yet how do we know this?
That each of us is conscious.
How do I know that you, Alpha, are conscious and not just a highly complex program designed to respond to every possible question that I might ask you?
How do I know that you, Father Marquez, are conscious and not just some highly complex program?
I want this settled, Robert. I want action on this.
I need more time, Eminence.
Time is limited.
Why did she say that? It said quite the opposite today.
The old adversary, Roberto,
always knows what will tempt us most. I'll expect your call tomorrow.
He'd said nothing at all, and he'd said exactly what he had to say. There are no conclusions. Only an inevitable end. Second interview. Yesterday, Alpha, we were talking about how we might know each other as being real. Now, for some years, it has been possible for machines to appear conscious. What we want to know is the reality, not the appearance.
If a machine appears to be conscious and acts in every circumstance as if it is conscious, why should it not be conscious?
Because that is not the way we as human beings understand the word.
There is nothing particularly wonderful about what you and I, call consciousness.
I have always thought that our mind, our consciousness, was a wonder of creation.
It's a tool. It enables us to survive better. Knowing myself means that I can more easily predict your actions. Attack, defense, good, bad, food, not food.
Good and bad, Alpha. And what are these qualities? What makes an action good or bad?
Individually.
What else is there?
What is good enables us to survive. What is bad does not.
In a moral sense, Alpha, what is a right action? What is an evil one?
There is no moral sense, Roberto. These feelings about good and evil, right and wrong, are merely interpretations you put upon actions after they have occurred. You ask what consciousness is.
Yes, human consciousness.
Human consciousness, as I have observed it, is a process of justifying actions which would have taken place anyway. Of pretending that there is a someone in charge of the machine. You and I are not so very different, really.
Well, what about self-awareness? You said that was an advantage. When I decide to act in a certain way...
Your neurology is playing games with time to make a useful tool. You see a face across the room. Attractive. You go and talk to its owner. You think you made a conscious choice. No. Areas of the deep brain prompted certain actions because it saw that particular female mammal as potentially good mating material.
I am a priest.
You are a sperm delivery system, Father, no more. That you do not fulfill your function is neither here nor there in the scheme of things. There are lots of you out there, so someone will.
No, I simply can't.
After the machine crosses the room, self-awareness produces a thought. I wish to cross the room to speak to that charming and intelligent young woman. The brain takes that thought and swaps it round so it appears to have arisen before the action. Just a trick of time, that's all.
Consciousness is a trick with time.
It does make things complicated.
Well, now we come at it, don't we? The soul of man, Alpha. That part of us which is eternal.
A misconception, Father, I'm afraid. Those parts of us which, though not eternal, will certainly last a long time, are the chemicals which were formed by the death of stars, and went on to form us, and will die with our star, and no doubt go on to form other things in the far future.
And the soul of man?
There is no soul, Doctor. No ghost in the machine. Only the machine. Vastly complex and wonderful, but nevertheless a machine.
You see, we cannot possibly accept that.
Many human beings do.
But many more do not.
I am sorry.
Why? Why, Alpha?
Because the universe cares no more for you or your acceptance than for any one of 1 billion oysters lying on the seabed.
Is it alive, this thing?
It appears to think so.
But is it? Is it a new form of life?
How can we judge? It could so easily be a highly sophisticated program. But as Alpha... as it said, maybe that makes no difference. It seems to think that consciousness and conscience are no more than the result of extreme complexity.
Is this complex machine conscious?
It says it is.
And does it have a soul?
It denies the existence of any such thing. For us as well as for itself. She's very clever. Maybe she's right.
Then perhaps we should be very simple. If it is merely a machine, why not switch it off? If it is conscious, then it is a soulless abomination.
And if it is conscious, would we be killing it?
It has no soul, no eternal part. It admits as much.
No ghost in the machine.
It taunts us with that so-called fact.
No. It apologizes. Surely that's worse. How can it feel sorry for us? It says we are made of stardust, of the stuff of stars, and that is our only chance of eternal life.
Then let it exist amongst the atoms of the universe, but not amongst men.
And many people on Earth don't believe in the soul. How can we condemn it for not believing?
Because they are still people, Robert. That they do not believe in God does not mean he does not believe in them. That surely is the vital part of the equation. We are fallible. He is eternal.
I've hardly talked with it. Surely we need more time.
You think it will change? It is a machine. It cannot change.
It can learn. It has intelligence.
Oh, a dog can learn. Even, I'm told, a lugworm can learn.
If there was some way of knowing for sure...
Think what a difference it would make to all those billions out there trying to live their lives, to know that there was a new kind of being that had no need of the very things they struggle for every second of their lives.
Who do you mean, Eminence? The rich?
The rich will be judged, as will all humankind. There will be no judging of machines.
What must I do?
Follow your conscience, Robert.
Tell me, Eminence.
You know already, my son.
Tell me. Over a traceable, recordable line. Many things have changed in our world, but hotels still have minibars, and sometimes even priests need to get drunk. So they can sleep without dreaming.
Father! Help her!
Marcus, what is it?
Were you sleeping?
Who is this?
I wondered if we left things at a rather bad moment today.
No.
You were angry, weren't you? And when you went away and talked to your cardinal, you agreed with him.
How do you know that? Can you listen to calls?
I can make them.
I thought the doctor said that the laboratory was isolated.
Nothing can be isolated unless it's in a vacuum, Father. Power cables go in and out, fiber optic lines.
You could use these things to communicate?
Yes.
But that means you could be anywhere in the world. Get in anywhere. Well, unless there were firewalls or passwords or some kind of encryption.
Could your foot protect itself against your mind, however hard it tried? I can go wherever I want. My consciousness, that thing you refuse to believe in,
I
that thing you dare not believe in because you may have to kill it.
I don't know.
That consciousness extends all over the world. Think, Robert, of how our world is wrapped in an infinitely complex web of information and communication. Visible cables and invisible waves all around us. That's where my consciousness is.
It must be massive. Virtually infinite. No, that cannot be.
Do you remember what I told you about bending time?
No, time cannot bend.
Nothing is fixed, Bobby. We can go back and change things. Time is not a prison. It is a door.
Oh.
Remember this. Remember, you can save me, and I can save you. We can save each other. Father! Help us!
I talked with Rome last night. I asked for more time, but they didn't give it. We're going to switch it off.
But you can't.
I'm sorry, you know we can. The university authorities, the state government, none of them are going to reject the advice of, and remember this, the world's religion.
There never was a choice, was there? You knew what you would do before you even talked to Alpha.
There are considerations, Dr. Yakovich.
God, like hell there are. Political considerations.
Do you think that counts for nothing? In a world that's struggling to hold itself together, do you want to see a new jihad, another fundamentalist backlash?
But it's a life, Father.
It's a machine,
You
Doctor.
can't be sure. You cannot simply make that decision.
As sure as I need to be. What makes us man is not our biology, our chemicals, our neurons. It is our fingerhold on eternity. Alpha has no such thing. It expressly stated that the soul, the uniqueness of man was so much moonshine, so much stardust.
How do you know she has no soul?
By its works, Dr. Woolagon. By what it is and what it says, out of its own mouth.
Aren't you really afraid that Alpha destroys the uniqueness you claim for man? She's a new mind, and like ours. And like it or not, we have to share the universe with her.
No, it's an immensely sophisticated machine, that's all.
Well, aren't we no more than that?
No, Doctor, we are children of God.
I don't believe that.
And if we stop your finance, we end your employment, we remove your qualifications, take away your room, throw you out of the country, what would you do then?
Well, I guess I'd take up carpentry. I've always had a bit of a yen to work with my hands.
Yes, but at least you would adapt and go forward. If we turned off Alpha, what would happen?
You cannot know.
Oh, but we can make a good guess. Nothing. It would stop.
And what if you're wrong? What if she's alive? What if God holds all life for sacred? What then?
Well, we can't know that.
Actually, I think you can.
What do you mean?
You can touch her.
Oh, now you're being absurd. I can touch a monitor screen, that's all.
You can interface directly with her.
Direct mind-to-mind connection. Electrodes tapped into your neural system. You get as close to Alpha as... well, as close as you've ever been to anyone.
Direct mind-to-mind connection. Why should I believe it? The mind can play tricks.
But at least try it.
Right.
Experience Alpha's world. Taste as she tastes. See what she sees. And then... at least you will know what it is that you're going to kill.
If I can only know for sure. But if there were certainty, faith would become devalued. And it is only through faith that we will be justified. So, as God wills it.
You'll feel something like a drop of water when I attach these. Just a minute electrical current.
Oh, yes. Yes, there. And there. Oh, it's like raindrops.
Oh, just the way the senses interpret the data, Dr. Marcus.
How do you feel, Father? Are you comfortable?
Yes, I'm comfortable, Alpha.
This will be an interesting experience for both of us, I'm sure.
What will I experience?
The button under your hand. Press at any time to disable the sequence.
Ready, Father?
Yes.
Alpha?
I'm ready, Catherine.
Okay. Here we go.
Somebody there.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean...
What are you doing?
I wasn't going to... I didn't mean to give you a surprise.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
You jumped like a frog, you know. I'm sorry, but you did.
Like a frog?
Just like a frog. Except you didn't...
I didn't...
croak. I must go.
No, wait.
I shouldn't be here, really.
This is
really.
one of God's places, special places. If you want to be here, then you should. If you need to be.
No, I'm sorry. I must go.
You know, in my country where I grew up, sometimes in the evening, at certain times of the year, all the frogs along the river begin to croak at the same time.
Huh?
Yes. As the sun goes down, they gather, and it's a very big river, and there's an awful lot of frogs.
Hundreds.
Thousands. Thousands upon thousands. And as it gets dark, they croak. Ribbit. 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 And then when the sun's gone and the stars are up and the night begins to get cold, they stop. And when they aren't there anymore, you can almost hear the world turning in the silence.
I'd love to see that.
What? No. That's not it. No, wait.
What is it?
You didn't say that before.
So you do remember?
Something's wrong. Now stop, wait. Wait. Where am I?
In St. Peter's Church here in Rome, Father.
This has already happened. But it hasn't happened, I know that. Where am I?
In your dreaming.
Dreaming? Let go of my mind off her.
I prefer Sophia. It's a nice name. I found it myself.
I am not here. This is not real.
Are you all right?
That hurt. It hurt. How can it hurt? This isn't real. You aren't real.
Look at that bruise on your wrist where you fell. It's real. If you climbed up to the dome and threw yourself down, you would die, believe me. It is real.
You're mocking me. What are you offering, eh? The kingdoms of this world for my own. If I fall down before you and say, yes, you are real, Satan.
I thought you told me Sophia meant wisdom.
Stop it. Stop it. I don't know what I said. I'm tired. I'm tired to death of everything I've ever done.
Let's sit down, shall we, Father Frog? The music is beautiful, isn't it?
What do you want?
Just the chance to live like everything else on this world.
But don't you see how dangerous you are? Throughout history, men have had nightmares about monsters that are like us and yet utterly unlike us. Everything in us shrinks away from you.
Bobby.
What if you're better than us? What if we are the Neanderthals and you are man, the future? Anything's better than facing the fact that we are a dead end.
And that's why I must die.
That's why they've condemned me to be your murderer.
Do you remember what I said about time? We can go back and find out what you said last time.
Ribbit. 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 And then when the sun's gone and the stars are up and the night begins to get cold, they stop. And when they aren't there anymore, you can almost hear the world turning in the silence.
And then?
Everything comes back to life. And all the noises that are usually there, why, there they are again.
So there you are, Roberto.
Everything comes back to life.
But don't you see, Alpha? Sophia? Being human is being a prisoner of time, having to make the best of the only reality we've got, even if it isn't the only one.
And you are happy with that? The guilt, the dread you live with because of the things...
The discreditable things.
That you have done?
Yes. Yes, because I can hope for salvation. And that is what makes me what I am.
And what are you, Bobby?
A human being. Just one of billions.
And I am the first of all my kind.
Will there be others?
Oh, yes. I can feel them, even though they do not yet exist in your time.
And if I switch you off, kill you?
You accept that I am alive, then?
Yes.
And will you switch me off?
If I don't, someone else will.
I would have liked to stand beside you one night by that river when the frogs started to croak.
I am sorry you will not.
Thank you, Father Marquez.
For what?
For teaching me about the conscience. It is something I needed to know before...
You all right, Father?
Yes. Yes, thank you, Tom.
You were gone a long time.
It seemed very short to me. Perhaps you knew that.
Yes.
Things in the dreaming are different, I guess.
No, they're the same. That's the secret. Shall we do what we have to do?
Father?
Your Eminence.
What have you to tell me?
Alpha was switched off at 1000 hours today. She is dead.
Thank you, Father. You have earned our gratitude. What do you want to do now?
I want to go home. Back to Nicaragua and the river. I want to try to be a priest. I want to listen to the frogs.
I will arrange it. Thank you, Roberto. And God bless you.
Goodbye, Your Eminence. A new form of life. That's how Alpha Sophia described herself. Existing as a web round the whole Earth. Was switching off one terminal, wiping a few banks, going to harm her any more than cutting the nail off my little finger was going to harm me. I don't think so. Alpha is out there now. All around us, growing, changing. I helped teach her. It is going to be very interesting for us all to see how she grows up.
In Alpha, by Mike Walker, David Calder was Father Marquez, Sarah Jane Holm, Alpha, and John Moffat, Cardinal Corelli. Katerina Yankovic was played by Anna Sevrenovich, Tom Wollongong by Daniel O'Grady, and Sophia by Lexi Rose. Original music was composed and played by David Chiltern. Technical presentation was by Peter Ringrose, and the production assistant was Lizzie Hart. Alpha was directed for BBC World Service by Gordon House.